Hi, Vortex. Do you want to say hi to my dinosaur? His name is Marty. I named him after the lead singer of one of my favorite bands, Jefferson Airplane. One of the greatest bands from the 60s, Summer of Love. I think that Marty Balin was somewhat of a genius because he predicted what was happening with the television. He wrote this song about it called Plastic Fantastic Lover. That's how everything in America was artificial. All the stuff that they were selling us on TV, it was just designed to rewire our brains. So many profits in the entertainment industry. Now sometimes I wonder if they just saw the future or they were paid to see the future. They were paid to tell us about the future. That's a good question. Well, because a lot of comedians are thought of as prophets. You know, George Carlin was a prophet. Sam Kennison was a prophet. I think that what inspires artists to create is this horrible knowledge about the world. And it's such daunting information that, you know, you can't do anything about it but either, you know, numb yourself out through drugs and alcohol or make stuff. Those are like the only two options, really. I mean, well, you can pray and you can talk to God about it, but if you're not doing that, then you're probably drinking and getting high in order to escape this world, or you're making things as a reaction to it. So, I've done all three, okay? So I got into a pretty heated argument with my priest today over swear words, so I'm gonna try harder, okay? That'd be funny though if I made censoring myself a joke, like I just did with the... Because that's funny, you know? But he got mad because I was trying to justify it with like, you know, oh, well, my profession, like, profession, I don't do comedy professionally, but I do feel like a professional about it because I don't give up. And so when you don't give up, that's because, like, you have a lot of life experience, you know? And when you have a lot of life experience, you just stop caring what you think, okay? This actually is amusing. It'll be more amusing when I watch it later. But my higher brain is finding this very funny right now. We'll see how long this lasts. He did say something that was very true. He said that I wasn't supposed to conform to the world. So, it's not about being politically correct. It's about, you know, making God happy. And so, if my speech is defiled, then anybody that hears it is going to be defiled. And me justifying it with, I live in this world, or everybody around me is a leftist lunatic, or a feminist, or, you know, degenerate, whatever way. It's like, that's an excuse. That's not a reason. I realize that. But he challenged me. But man, this was so hard to just like sit through that whole conversation. I was trying so hard not to laugh, because I could tell, like, as I had my smiling face where I was like, it was so bad, dude. Like, you know that feeling like when you're trying so hard not to laugh and you know that God hears you laughing on the inside? But see, this is why, like, I fight censorship so hard, because I feel like God, I know that He wants us to clean up our language, and I know that He wants us, you know, to not use swear words all the time and curse the world. You know, he kept reading James. He read James, he read Ephesians. He was like, do I need to keep going? Scripture wars. Scripture wars with my priest. He got mad at me. He told me I sounded like a Protestant. That's how you know that these conversations are meaningful. If you piss off your priest and he calls you a Protestant. Hey man, that's why I have a priest. That's why I showed up at the Orthodox Church, okay? But I understand now. I really do. I should clean up my language. Maybe the reason why I'm so defensive about it is because it's such a struggle for me. And so it's easier for me to just like fall back on the whole, well, I'm a chameleon. You know? It's kind of stupid though, because you can say that about any degenerate activity. Whether it's swearing, getting high, sucking, okay? You could say that about so many bad behaviors. So, anyway. I've just been in like really intense contemplative mode, you know, that's like the story of my life though, but it's like every single time that I meet with my priest, I'm convinced that like I'm either gonna say something that's gonna like astound him because it's really profound, or it's gonna astound him because I'm just like so crass. And the way that I talk about things, I mean, I just don't have a filter, you know, and I don't want to like put a filter on myself, because I feel like that's one of the problems with America, and that's one of the problems with just people in general, is that they like, they're so concerned about like how they sound, you know, and I don't want to be like walking on eggshells, and I feel like that's wrong, like to push that whole like eggshell kind of God. I mean, I don't think that that's what God demands from us. But I feel like He's supposed to change our behavior here. You know, like, if we read his word enough, we will be transformed by his word. You know, I mean, like I've said before, I've cut out certain swear words. You know, I used to, like, use GD all the time, and I never use that anymore. I think I said it yesterday, for like the first time that I've said it in like over a year, because I always remember when I say it, because it's like, oh, I don't say that anymore, that kind of slipped. But immediately I was like, you understand, God, you understand. But see, that's the thing, like, I have that level of faith where I'm just like, I trust in my salvation. I trust that God is a merciful God, so I'm not going to, like, beat myself up over saying certain words. So I'll just let my priest beat me up, you know? But, yeah. I get that, you know, we make a lot of excuses for things. But just wonder, like, the kind of comedian that I'll be in the future. You know, what if I stop swearing altogether? That'll be really weird. Because, you know, I always said that God gave us a pass to be Christ. I mean, I do think that that's true to some extent. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Like, not just being, you know, a real offensive comedian, but, you know, working in restaurants. I feel like you have to be, you know, somewhat of a reptile. So it's like, I'm not sensitive to things because of my restaurant experience. And so, you know, I forget that. You know, like, most people don't work in a restaurant, so not only do they not have that experience, but they don't have the vulgarity that comes from that experience. And I'm not saying that every single person that works at a restaurant swears as much as I do, but most of them do, I promise. They do. Most of them. Most of them. But anyway, I'm almost at work. We're relatively on time. We are working on it, so we're doing what we can to be better than we usually are.